We're going live in a second. Let me just log in quickly. Here we go. Let's switch to that one. There we go. Let's give it a second to load. There we go. Welcome everybody. Let me just get a quick check what's going on. Oh, there we go. So I did some work a little bit earlier. I played a little bit earlier today, and I did a bunch of prep work. It was actually took me quite a while. I took all the cotton that I've been gathering on this character and my other character for a while, and oh, actually, let me change the interface scale so that it's a little easier to see. Because I'm pretty sure at the resolution that I'm running at, this is going to be difficult to see. So let's just turn it up a bit. So I actually want to get it kind of like all the way there. So I want to be sure that everybody can kind of... Ooh, I just noticed the setting that was wrong there. 60 FPS, ultra, everything on, good. There we go. Should be a little bit easier to read now. So we've got, what's this, 365 bolts of cloth. We have 2,500 roughly in here. And we have another, I think, 8,000 or something in our bank. So we have a ton. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get more of this crafting order, cloth padded helm. We have some crates, the bandanas and stuff. We might actually do these just to cycle through them. We have so much cloth now. Well, I don't know if we'll do this one. This one needs quite a lot, but this one we can do to cycle. So that's good to know. We'll leave it a little bit so that we can get the next one again. So what tends to happen in these crafting orders, they cycle, every so often. After a certain amount of time passes, you'll get new ones from each of the different vendors. Is he following me? Yes. So you can technically travel around and find, different crafting orders at the different towns, or you can, if you turn in a crafting order, it resets that vendor's options. So that's another thing that you can do to try and get a specific crafting order. So what have we got there? 7,000, and I think if I open this, I'll just put everything in here for now, just so that I have it all in one place. So how much do we have in total? 9,520. Oh, there's more cotton here. Okay, so we'll use the rest of the cotton as well. But before I do that, I want to check the crafting orders again, because we need more crafting orders. So it's good to check it every so often so that you catch it when it resets. So we'll do that, and then for our house, we've got the smallest house. I've already bought the blueprint and placed it on the plot to see what the resources is that it needs, and we need, like, I think 100 iron, which we have. Sorry, I think we need 140 iron, and then we need 100 bricks, which that's a carpentry thing. Now we won't have the bricks or the wood because we donated all our bricks and wood to another player for their house. Hey Kawhi, how's it going? I think we might have a little bit of boards. Yeah, we have 292. We need 500 boards, and we need 100 bricks, and we need 140 iron. So just to get the rest of the boards, we have roughly 300, which means we need another 200, which means we need 1,000 wood. So that means more than that's 2.5 loads of wood. Fortunately, we have the iron, so that's not a problem. And we'll have to collect the wood, and then we'll need the brick as well. So I think I put my mining pick away, so I need that, and I got my hatchet on me, so that should be fine. So for what do we need? 100 bricks. We need 500 stone. So we're definitely going to need all our pack horses for this. 200 or just 1,000. Yeah. Okay. So let's check all the crafting orders. I'm good. I actually had a really good day. I didn't do anything. I didn't leave the house. I just stayed at home, chilled, played some games. It was really good. The weather was pretty good as well. It's been cold, but today was relatively decent. So still a little bit cold now, but it's okay. It wasn't uncomfortably cold, so. And we have a holiday coming up, not tomorrow, not Monday, but Tuesday. So I think most people do the normal thing where, when there's I don't know, in other countries maybe they don't do it, but here in South Africa, when Tuesday is a holiday, most people take the Monday off. They put in leave for the Monday so that they can have a 4-day weekend. That's kind of a common practice. So most places will be closed tomorrow. Unfortunately, since I work for myself, I can't really do that. Well, I can do it, I don't. Let's grab all our horses. I think we need all of them, but we might as well. There you go. That'll give us enough space to carry everything we need. I should technically be chopping these trees. Oh no, you're still using your phone's hotspot. I think you said you were using because your regular internet isn't working or hasn't been for a few weeks. I think you said. We actually have. There's so many people that use 4G here in South Africa that it's actually fairly decent. The only problem is it's really expensive. So you can't really use it for, for too much. There is starting to get certain providers that have decent deals. Like I have a SIM card that has effectively uncapped 4G, but not during peak hours. Oh, actually, I should be. Oh no! I want to check the. I want to check the craft orders first. So something's changed with this. You used to not be able to summon your mount while you had 5 pets out, if I remember correctly. Unless I did something wrong or whatever. But recently I've noticed that you can do it, so I think they changed that. Which is nice, because now with my tamer I can pull out all 5 bears and still ride my bear, which is nice. Like having one extra bear doing damage makes a big difference. I played for most of today actually. I don't know why, I've been playing a lot of Legends of Aria lately. I don't necessarily mean to, but I'm really enjoying it. And also, I have my stream set up for it, so it's easier to stream the same game than to set it up for a different one. I mean, the game I've mostly been neglecting is Borderlands, but I've barely played that, so I'm not too worried about it. I mean, there's tons of Borderlands streamers at the moment, so I think anybody that's looking for some Borderlands streams will probably be fairly easily satisfied. The only thing that they were clever when they did, obviously with Borderlands, part of the story has to do with streamers, so they kind of pitched the whole streaming thing and worked it into the story. And when they built the extension, they were actually clever. It's something that I think most people don't realize, but it's by design that when you watch a streamer and they open the red chests and you can get a copy of the items in the red chest, or one of them, you can pick which one. What they've actually done is they've limited how many people gets a copy every time a streamer opens a chest. And so if you want more drops, it benefits you to watch a smaller streamer who has fewer viewers, because the chances of you getting a drop is higher. And that's really clever, because the big popular streamers, people are going to watch them because they're popular, right? But it gives people incentive to watch smaller streamers. So it's actually really nice if you play Borderlands and you want to watch Borderlands, to go to the Borderlands directory and toggle. There's a tag for the there's a tag that automatically gets added when the echo casting is enabled. So you filter by that tag and then go somewhere to the bottom with the fewest viewers, and you'll get drops every time. So it's really cool, and obviously you're supporting that streamer as well, so it's cool. So yeah, I don't feel too obligated to stream Borderlands. I need to make some progress in Minecraft though. I checked again today. I'm at 75%. But there's one or two advancements that I'm quite close to getting. So I'm like 75% going on 80, which is kind of where I was before. I was at about 80, 85 before. And I was getting to that point where I was going through the advancements and figuring out which ones to do just to get them done. But I think the next thing for me to do in Minecraft is, it's almost all big setup projects. Ooh, I need to be mining this stone when I see it. The problem with the stone is that I have to switch. There you go, stone. So I need 100 stone, so I need 500 stone. So I was playing this most of today. I actually didn't play on my crafter earlier. I played on my ranger. And the goal was actually to collect a bunch of gold, because I needed the gold to buy the house. So how it works is you buy the plot, and then once you have the plot, you can buy a blueprint or a plan for a house. And then depending on the size of the size and complexity of the house, it'll cost more or less. And then when you place that on your plot, it puts a foundation down and tells you how much resources you need. And then you have to collect the resources yourself to actually build the building. So it cost us about 56,000 gold for the plot. And that gives you a plot that's 12 by 12. And so that's like the smallest plot you can have. And then we spent just under 5 platinum, so I think it's about 48,000 or 47,000 gold for the building. Which is mainly what I was doing with the ranger. I was gathering gold to buy the plot and then gathering gold to buy the house. And I thought it would take a while, so I thought I'll do some of it off stream. But actually when I combined the gold that I had on the two characters, I managed to get enough. And at first I thought I was just like go and grind it out, go to like the graveyard or whatever and just get gold there. But I wanted to get my skills up a little bit. Ooh, why? Why am I dropping so many frames? Is it still dropping frames? Judging by how many frames is being dropped, I'm guessing there's nothing is going through if it's climbing this fast. Does anybody get any video? If I walk around, can you see me move? Or yeah, I'm just suspecting that it's not actually on your side because I'm getting like 40% dropped frames, which is that basically means it's not getting any frames. I don't know what's causing it though. Because now the bitrate is climbing, but I'm assuming that's trying to catch up frames. Because I've seen this happen before, the bitrate just keeps climbing and climbing, and let me see the... Never really recovers. Okay, let me just switch to different screen and see if that helps. So the bitrate's going down and the drop frames percentage is going down as well. Which I think means it's stabilized. I think it's targeting 3,000 kilobits, so it seems to be going down, so let's hope it stays stable now. If it doesn't stay stable, I'll have to restart OBS and just shut the stream off and start it up again. But hopefully this will get it sorted now. Sorry, hopefully it'll look better now. If it comes back and does that again, we'll switch it out. Ooh, so I was playing with my ranger, and I thought, let me just get some of my skills up. So I tried to get some of my combat skills, and in particular my beast mastery up, because you use beast mastery to... Beast mastery is kind of like using your pets as a weapon. So in combat you have like a weapon skill for, if you're using an axe, it's a slashing weapon. If you're using a spear, it's a lancing weapon. If you use you know, a mace or a maul, it'll be bashing. And so when you tell your pets to attack an enemy, it's kind of the game is kind of treating it like you're using the pet as a weapon, and so the skill that correlates to that is beast mastery. And if you obviously you can't really affect how well the pet hits or misses, because that's kind of innate of the pet, not of your skill. So what they do is they correlate it to your ability to command the pet to attack. So if your beast mastery skill is too low, then why is this saying 38? Oh, it's busy going down. It keeps giving me notifications. They're basically correlated to you can't command your pet to attack. So sometimes they won't listen. The better your pet is, like the higher level it is, the more skill it requires to command them to do things. We don't want the cobalt. I mean, we do actually want the cobalt, but need a stone right now, so I'm going to skip the other things. And then it also makes them do more damage. So their hit and miss rate doesn't change. But you can only get skill gains from something that is challenging. So if you fight like very easy enemies, and your skill is like, in the like intermediate level, you won't get any gains. You have to fight like intermediate or hard enemies to get skill gains. And so I was grinding in the graveyard where it's all like level 25 to 50 skill level enemies. And so when my skill got to like 58, it would stop gaining. So I could keep grinding there and get gold, but it would be better for me to get my skill up, even if I go back to that spot, because then I would gain more gold because I would be killing them faster and I'd be using less resources and all that. So I thought, okay, let me go around and kill some harder enemies to get my skills up, and then I can either find another spot where I can grind and get more gold faster, or I can go back to the same spot and get some resources faster, because we need to somehow get 700 platinum, which is 7 million gold. And 7 million gold is not gonna be quick, especially not at the rate that we're doing it at, because we worked out it's about, in a 3-hour session we were earning about 1 platinum, which is 10,000 gold, which means we need 7 million divided by 10,000 times by 3 hours is how long we would need to play to get that, and that's not going to work. So we want to try and get our earning rate up to like at least like 1 plat an hour, so 10,000 an hour, which is like 3 times that. Ideally we wanted a little bit more. We want it to be like 2 or 3 plat an hour, because then we can get, if we get up to 3 plat an hour, we need 200 hours, which is still long, but that's like a reasonable amount of time. Like, that's an achievable amount of time, shall I say. I don't know, I don't really have a good organizational structure for this. I'm just going to put the stone in here. We need 1,000 stone. Each horse holds 400, so we need 2.5 horses of stone. And we need 200 planks, so we need actually we only need 500 stone. So we need 1 horse load and a bit and a quarter of stone, and then we need 2.5 horse loads of wood. Sometimes a little bit hard to tell which mineral you're going to get from the rocks. In particular cobalt. Cobalt looks just like stone. Normally it's not a problem. I actually need a bunch of cobalt because cobalt increases my mining. But since we're specifically trying to get the house built, I'll skip that for now and just get the stone to get it done as quickly as possible, because I also want to do some crafting afterwards. So I got my ranger skills up. Basically, 58 was where my combat skills were capping out at the graveyard. Um, so I got my archery up to 58 at the graveyard first, so that, you know, I can kind of stay safe. And then once I had that and I knew I could kind of fight anybody off if it became a problem, I started to get my beast mastery up to 58 as well. And I eventually did that at the graveyard. And I was getting my healing and my and animal law was going up because I was healing my pets. So my healing's at like, it was higher than that. It was at like 67 or something. But my beast mastery wasn't going up, so I wasn't doing any more damage, and my archery wasn't going up, so I wasn't doing any more damage. And that's really the thing that's going to affect us making more gold there. So I thought, okay, let me go and see what I can do. And I also wanted to get my taming up, because with all the fighting that I've been doing, my combat skills have been going up, and my animal taming hasn't, because I've gotten to the point where I don't make as many mistakes, so my bears don't die. And normally what happens is when one of my bears dies, or if two of my bears die, I go and tame replacements. That's going to be iron. Oh no, it's stone. Perfect. And I haven't been doing that ever since I kind of got the better skills and figured out how to micromanage it a little bit better. So I thought, okay, let me go tame a little bit to get that skill up. And I did a little bit of research to figure out, you know, what I can tame to get it up and what I should be doing. And at the same time, I was curious if my skills improve further and I need to find the next spot to grind combat skills, what would be the next most difficult thing to do. So there's usually like a progression where you can move from one place to another, and usually you can move on from the one place to the next one a little bit earlier if you have a better grasp of your the combat mechanics and stuff. And if you want to play it safer, you can obviously wait until right at the end when you're not getting any more gains from the one spot. Now we're basically at the point where we don't get any gains from that spot, so we should really be moving on to the next one to progress further. But there's a couple of places we can go, and they kind of all have their complications. So what I ended up spending a couple of hours doing is going to the place. So right now our taming is still low, but our combat skills are high. So in general, the places where you would tame has enemies that aren't going to bring your combat skills up. So you have to kind of decide, are you going to bring your combat skills up, or are you going to bring your taming up? And one of the suggestions of where to go to get your combat skills up from where I am now at about 58 all the way up to 85, and I think we have enough stone now, if I can remember which horse I put the stone in. 240, so there should be 160. So we need the 400 there, and we need another 100, which we almost have. I think this one should be stone, yes. And let me see, 82 stone. Oh, hi Bella Sky Dangerous. I don't know why there wasn't a notification. Unless I didn't hear it. Let me see if I redo that. Oh. Wait a second. I just noticed something. Sorry, Balaska, there is supposed to be a alert notification, and Did that show? I didn't see it. Sorry, I keep getting these drop frames notifications. It's so annoying. Oh, wait, no, there it is. Remove. Oh, that's loud. Why is the... Let's try that again. That's a Twitch follow, so why is that not... Let me just see what it's doing. Follows, hosts. Yeah, sure. No, it seems... No, that's... That's not right. Sorry, I'm just gonna fix this because this is gonna annoy me. Okay, let me check in the chat. So, archery, healing, vigor, martial, beast mastery, taming, law equals 7. Yes. Okay. So yeah, healing and vigor, 50. Martial prowess is 0. So I actually... So if you're going to have taming and animal law, you want them to be above 80. You want... sorry, if you... With healing 80, greater than 80, and animal law greater than 80 is needed to resurrect your pets. So you definitely want animal law greater than 80. Oh, sorry. So you definitely want healing greater than 80. Between vigor and mark, so what I would do is I would put I would take all 7 as high as you can, as long as you can. But when you get to the point where you run out of skill points, I would balance the 100 that you have left between vigor and martial prowess. Because martial prowess, you don't really need to do damage. It helps a little bit, but only with archery. And vigor only helps really with healing yourself. Sorry, I'm not sure. So does that make sense? What I would probably do is I would leave vigor at 50 and martial prowess at 50 and get the others to 100 if you can. I just want to check something with this I'm just going to do a quick transition to make sure that... Do you guys see a big white box over the screen, or is that just showing on my screen for some reason? Yeah, so you don't have to limit them, but when you get... Yes, you do see a white box. Okay, so it's showing now, but now it's showing funny. What is going on with this thing? It's supposed to be transparent. Yeah, so if I do that, then it hides. But if I turn it back, then... Oh. If I hide it and I show it, now it doesn't show. So, okay, let me do another test follow. So now you see the notification, but you don't see the white box. I hate it when I uncover these technical things. So what's supposed to happen is this. Yes, okay, the color is wrong, but I know how to fix that. I'll fix that in between streams. So that means a bunch of follows weren't showing up. Now I feel bad. I didn't notice that, and nobody said anything. Grab the wood as well. So we need 100 stone here. We only have... Oh, we have enough. Okay, perfect. So let's pack this away. We don't need any more stone for now. Oops. So Bella Sky Dangerous, are you 60 points away from GMing everything? Oh no, it didn't. Okay. It didn't. I'll put that in there. See, again, I didn't see that. I didn't hear the sound and it didn't show. But it should work now. I don't know why that stopped working, because I didn't change any settings on that. I thought I'd left it off of this scene, but then I saw it is actually there. But they've obviously, it's reverted back to the default color, which is the orange. I've changed all my stuff to the purple. This is, I mean, this whole like layout is a temporary thing anyway. You know, it's just kind of a template. I'll have to do all my own stuff and set it up. I just haven't like figured out, like branding is kind of a difficult thing. I definitely think I want to do like a pixel art thing. I like pixel art, so I want to do something with that. But I don't know, for like my avatar, my logos, all that kind of stuff, I need to get like a consistent theme, because I don't want to go to some designer and say make me some stuff and just come up with whatever you think. Like I want to give them some kind of direction to say like, okay, you know, I want it to go this kind of thing, notifications I want to be like that. So right now I made it simple. I just made all the notifications the same. But yeah, ultimately I want to have, you know, custom sounds and animations for everything. But it's a little bit tricky because of all the different platforms. So there's sometimes there's integrations don't all work so great. Like I think the stuff that I have at the moment all is kind of geared towards Twitch stuff. So it has like bits and follows and subs. Hey Slime Mobber, how's you doing? Yeah, I mean, I kind of want people to get like a sense of that they're on my channel, right? And also I want the emotes and everything to kind of be consistent with it, so that like, you know, I want them to be nice emotes so that you can use it, you know, in Discord everywhere and in Twitch everywhere. You know, I would like to do it myself, but I'm technically competent. I know how to do it all. It's the creative art side of it though is lacking. Like, I could do it myself and it wouldn't cost me any money, but I care less about it costing me money than I care about it being good. So I'd rather let somebody else do it and have it be good. Okay, you're gonna have to explain how buying wedding rings gets you into the hospital. But I'm glad you're doing okay. Hopefully it wasn't anything serious that you ended up going to the hospital for. I did the ring buying thing once a long time ago. I'm not looking forward to doing it again. Oh man, that's serious. Do you suffer regularly? So do you have an inhaler? Or are you one of those people that doesn't usually get it, but then when you get it, it's so bad that you have to go to the hospital? Respiratory ailments are tough. Because it's not just that you know, that you're suffering from it. It's like your body stops working. It's a very, very uncomfortable thing. Like, it's not just that you have to go to the hospital, it's that you get a little bit of panic, you struggle with breathing and everything. Yeah, that's for a lot of people that's what happens. You're mostly fine, but then when you do get an attack, you know, you're unprepared for it, and then it ends up being quite serious. I also know a few people who have inhalers, but they don't carry it with them because they almost never need it. And it's usually like at the turn of the season or something when, you know, there's all kinds of allergens in the air that people start to, you know, have these kinds of problems. Like when it goes from winter to summer or summer to winter. So let's see, how much wood we have. We need 1,000, so let's say this is our first one. So I'm actually going to rename our horses. It seems a little bit odd to just like have them be the material, so I'll just, I don't know, make it Latin or something. In Latin that's aurum. Oh, okay, congratulations. So that'll be nice weather and everything, right? Because that's like the later end of summer. Hey, boo, la de da da. Is that right? La de da da. Thanks for the follow, appreciate it, man. Or woman. Or anything else. Yeah, I got engaged. How old was I? I was 21. Was 21 when I got engaged, and I'm 35 now. And we're still not married. So what's that? 14-year engagement. But we're still together. No rush to get married. But yeah, I mean, at this point, you know, we've been together so long, we live together, everything. The difference between being married and not being married is not that much. So we don't have that much motivation. Mostly it's from our families. You know, they just want the finalization of it. and so both me and my fiance lost our fathers when we were young. So it's just my mother and her mother. And as you can imagine, with both the in-laws being grandmothers, they want to be grandmothers. That's like their thing. So they're both on our cases. At some point, we'll have to do something to stop them worrying about that. Yeah. But I mean, we've been saying to ourselves from the beginning, right? When we first got together, there's a bit of an age difference between us as well, so there was some hesitation on both sides. And we're both from different cultural backgrounds. So she's Asian and I'm, a white South African, so effectively European. And it was an issue on her side of the family, and it was an issue on my side of the family as well. And we just said to each other, look, our relationship is about us, not about them. So I don't care if my family's happy or they object or whatever. It's not my job to make them happy. It's my job to, make her happy, and vice versa. So, we kind of just ignored it. And I think after a while, when everybody realized, okay, this is not just a short-lived thing, this is kind of serious, they've been together for a long time, they kind of started to accept it. And now they're at the point where they don't really give us any flack about it anymore. Like I said, now they're just more worried about when the grandkids are coming. So, yeah, when we do get married, we've kind of been thinking we probably won't even make a big deal about it. Like, I don't really see the point. I know a lot of people love the wedding and the big thing and getting all the friends and family together, whatever. We're both fairly antisocial. So she has a bunch of friends, but they live all over the world. She kind of kept in touch with her friends from high school and varsity days. Yeah, I mean, parents is just grandkids. That's all they want. Luckily, my sister had a son like 8-9 years ago. So there is a grandkid for my mom at least. But my fiance's side, she's an only child, so her mom's a little bit more on her case because she doesn't have any grandkids. And she comes from a big family as well, so she's an only child, but her mother is one of 11. So it's quite odd for her to have one child and no grandkids. So archery 100, healing 80, martial 70, vigor 70, taming 100, beast mastery 100, law 80. So wait, how many do you have there? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 skills. So that totals you taking 20, 40, 70, and 70. Okay, so the problem with that is going to be if you have taming 100 and law 80 is going to give you an average of 90. So you won't be able to tame wyverns. So I would do, so what I'm going for, yeah, okay, so you're doing this, I'm doing the same thing. I'm taming and archery is all I have. So what I'm doing is archery 100, animal taming 100, animal lore 100, and then healing 100. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, and then beast mastery here. Beast mastery 100. Healing 100. And then I put vigor 50. Martial prowess 50. That's what I'm going with. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600. Yeah. So that's how I'm gonna do it. Technically, you don't need martial prowess. We'll have to see what happens with martial prowess when they add the new mechanics in the next point release, because that's going to give you some skill abilities to use, and that might be good. It might not be. We'll have to see. So I would take the 20 from martial and the 20 from vigor, and put it into law and healing, because that'll make your heals better. It'll make your taming better, and the vigor only helps when you're healing yourself, and the martial prowess only helps your damage for archery. Now, if you've got the pets and archery, yeah, martial prowess goes up fairly quickly though, and all it does is it adds a little bit of damage. And you would, trust me, you'd rather be able to tame a wyvern than do a little bit more damage with your bow. And the vigor also, the vigor only helps with healing yourself. It does a little bit of damage on the bow as well. So bringing the martial prowess and the vigor down to 50 is going to decrease your archery skills a little bit, but it's going to improve your capabilities with your pets a lot more, because you'll be able to tame the strongest pets and you'll be able to resurrect them. How have you been coming on with Borderlands, Slamabo? Are you through the story yet? I haven't actually had a chance to play any more this weekend, so I haven't seen where you're at. I'm assuming if you were out today, you probably also haven't played much more. Yeah, I thought as much. Yeah, I kind of want to get through the story, just so that it doesn't get spoiled. But if I'm honest, the previous Borderlands, I think Borderlands 1 I got through the whole story. I don't think I even got through the whole story of Borderlands 2 or the pre-sequel. Because it's kind of just one of those games that I play to relax. So I just, you put a couple of hours in when you're not doing anything else. And I like to try out all the classes, so I play everything. And then I never, I get halfway through the story with a whole bunch of classes instead of getting all the way through the story with one of them. So I think what I'll probably end up doing right now is I'll pick one of the two classes I'm playing and just only play that class until I finish the story at least. And get to like level 50 or whatever the case may be. So I haven't been keeping track of how much wood I have, or actually which one has the. One of them has the stone in, that's full. Not that one. This one. Okay, so Aurum has this stone that's full, so I'm going to keep that there. Which side is the exit to this thing? So we need 1,000 wood. I'm pretty sure we've got about 300 already. I don't know what cobalt or obsidian is in Latin. Might have to look that up. I'm actually not 100% sure what the process of what the process is that causes obsidian. It's obviously an igneous material that comes from, like, you know, magma of some kind. But it's obviously different from just regular stone, right? Because that's what I think that's what stone is, like when there's an eruption and the lava runs into the ocean and it solidifies. Is that obsidian, or does that just become normal stone? I would say my geology is a little bit rusty, but I'm pretty sure I never knew that, so I didn't forget it. I'm doing the very craftery thing here where I'm just like chopping down all the trees in that town, because he's not really able to defend himself if he goes out of town. Actually, he can. Around here is fairly safe, so he'll probably be fine, but basically just not taking the chance. So this is cuprum. So I can split this into, what's that, 260? That's more or less full. We don't actually have to fill up all the packs, so we should actually keep an eye on it. So I was playing with my ranger. I got the skills up a little bit. My healing's up to like 77. I think my beast mastery is up to into the 60s. Some of my other skills like archery and stuff has gone up past 58 as well, so it's at like 59, 60 as well. But what I was doing is I was going around the area where the brown bears are that I can tame, because I was trying to get the taming up. My taming is actually my lowest skill. Even though it's supposed to be my main skill, it's the one that takes the longest to raise, so I think it's always going to be the lowest skill. But because I've been taming and healing my pets a lot, my animal lore is quite high. It's at like... Is it at 59? It's at like 69, I think, or 65 or something. It's like, it's much higher than the other things. And so when you tame things, it uses the average of the two. And so because it's like 10 higher than everything else, the average is quite high. But I don't know if it's a bug or if it's meant to work this way. If your animal taming is below what the wiki says the minimum is for taming an animal, it'll allow you to try taming that animal, but you won't, as far as I can tell, you'll never tame it, and you don't get skill gains from trying to tame it. And so that's usually a good way to get the skill gains. You try to tame something that's really, really hard to tame, but that you can tame, and then it'll take really long to tame it, which means you can stay in that one spot and just try and tame that same pet animal over and over again. But you get gains, so eventually you'll tame it, and then you'll have to find the next one, and that one you'll tame a little bit faster, and so on. But it gives you a nice boost when you get to that skill level, because now you can use this technique to up your skill. But what I've noticed is my animal lore is really high, which means on average I can tame it, but my animal taming is too low to tame it. so you just never tame it and you never gain skill. And so what's going to happen is when my animal taming does actually get to the point where I can tame it, my animal law is going to be so high that the chance for me to tame it is going to be fairly high, which means I'm going to tame it right away, which means it's going to take me much longer to grind up, because I'll have to, I'll have to tame a lot of them, because I won't get a lot of skill gains off each. Now what I'm thinking might be the way to solve this, and this is something I should probably test earlier rather than later so that I don't hurt my chances in the long run, but I can forget my animal law skill back down to the same skill point that I need to tame that animal, so that my average is as low as possible while still gaining skill from it, and have my animal taming go up that way, and just cap my animal law until my taming is high. So what I'm effectively doing is I'm allowing myself to get more animal taming skill gains. So this is getting pretty technical and complicated, but I'm basically maximizing the animal taming skill gains on that type of animal, so that I can get that as high as possible, as quick as possible, because animal law is actually easy to get up, because you get animal law from healing your pet, which is not a difficulty based skill check, which you can always run. So I could get a rat or something, which is like a really basic animal as a pet, and heal it over and over and over again and get to 100 skill. But for animal taming, to get to 100 skill, I have to find an animal that's at least 60 or something difficulty, and keep taming that over and over. And not the same animal, you have to keep finding more of them. And so it should be fairly easy to get that up, because once you have the pets and you fighting enemies or whatever and healing them, the law will go up. And once you've learned it up to a certain point, so let's say my animal law is at 69, and I unlearn it back down to whatever I need for that animal, say 53, I can cap it there, and then get my animal taming up to say 61 or whatever I need for the next thing. And once I get it there, I can unlock my animal taming, my animal law skill, and set it back to what I want. So let's say 63. Then it should go up to 63 much faster, because it's already been there. So if you look at the skill book, if you pick a specific skill, you'll see there's this little notch where you can set what you want it to be limited at. And so right now it's at 100. If I pull this down, it'll limit it to 0, so I'll unlearn all those skills, but the green bar will actually stay at 72, which means, and you can see this here with my Beast Mastery. I had Beast Mastery up to 30 something, and I unlearned it. If I ever pick this up again and I set this back up to 100 or whatever, the first bit of skill back up to 30 will happen really, really quickly. It'll go in like 2 or 3 times faster, because I've already learned it. So unlearning some animal law might be the best course, because I'll get it back quickly, but it'll also help my animal taming go faster, which is the harder one to do. Now the risk with doing it, that this is a theory that I have, based on how I understand the skill gains and the checks to work, which is just based on my observation, which is just like a week or 2 of playing the game, and only a small portion of that doing taming related stuff. So I might be wrong, and I might be shooting myself in the foot by unlearning that skill. But I think it might be worth doing for science. Like if I find that helps a lot with the animal taming, I'll be doing that at every step that I go up from one animal to the next. Because there's vaguely groups of animals that you should be taming in each category, usually with one non-hostile animal and the rest all hostile. And so ideally you want to be taming that non-hostile one as much as possible, and having your skill be as low as possible lets you attempt to tame that same animal over and over again, rather than finding another one. And you should be able to tame from that animal up to the next class. So for me right now, that's brown bears. I'm at like, I think 47 or something, 47 or 48. The next category of animals starts at about 59 to 61. And for that, like giant beetles are really the good thing to tame. But that has its own complications because the giant beetles, as far as I understand it, are only available in the PvP zone. And as far as I know, that's the only thing that's really limited to the PvP zone, that you can't get it anywhere else. So the player killers are obviously aware of that, and so they'll probably, you know, hang around that area quite a lot. And if your combat skills aren't, you know, up to par, then that might be a problem. Fortunately, what somebody mentioned to me is that when your combat skills are around 60, you can get them up all the way to like 85 on giant beetles. And the giant beetles are passive; they're not aggressive, so they don't attack you. So you can do it fairly early. Like, you don't have to worry about dealing with 5 of them at once. You can just do them one at a time. And because they take your skill up to 85, if they take your skill up to 85 fairly quickly, that's a good way to get there and get a little bit safer, right? Because no worries, Kawaii, you do what you need to do. If you can still hear me, that's better than most people just, you know, sit in the stream and put it in the background, and sometimes turn the volume down as well. So I'm happy to have you here. If you can hear me, that's fine. I'll try not to ask you questions and stuff, because you know, then you're going to be having to come back into the stream. So that's something that I should consider doing. The only thing is, giant beetles are like the best pet to tame from 60, roughly 61 onwards, maybe even also all the way up to like 85 or whatever. So if I'm going to be spending time there, I'd ideally want to be at the point where I can tame them as well. So I think that's my main objection to doing that right now, because it'll be double work. But at the same time, if I go and get my combat skills and my beast mastery up there, you know, I can get that up to 85, and then you know, and then once I get those things capped up at 85, I can always leave and come back later when I can tame. Because then in the meantime, while I'm taming all the other stuff, the brown bears and the whatnots, I'll be able to, you know, defend myself much better and do it much quicker. So what I've been doing in the meantime is I've been taming in the wilds around the towns here, and I'm taming brown bears because that's the thing that I need to tame. But if you go to like kind of like there's a couple of spots where there are brown bears around, but there's also a couple of enemies that are stronger. So trolls, as far as I can tell, there are trolls, large spiders, and goblins around the brown bears. And I think the and I think bandits maybe as well. I think the bandits are slightly higher skill than the stuff in the graveyard, not by much, but maybe by a couple of points. I think the large spiders are higher skill by quite a bit, like at least 5 or 10 points, and the trolls are stronger by quite a bit. I think they're up to 60, so also like 10 points or maybe a little bit more. So what I've been doing is and I can take on trolls at my skill level. I basically just send my bears to attack it so that they kind of like tank its damage, and then I shoot it with my arrows. The bears can take out a troll on their own if I heal them. If I don't heal them, like one of them will die or whatever. So I can, if I want to get my beast mastery up, just have the bears attack it. But I'm using the opportunity to get my archery up as well. So if the trolls stop giving me archery skill, then I'll stop shooting it with arrows, because that, you know, shooting it with arrows requires resources, and the pets attacking it doesn't. It just takes bandages to heal it, to heal them up again. So it's more resource efficient that way. But on the other hand, I mean, resource efficiency isn't the only thing. Having like killing them faster is also like valuable. Although you know, the trolls are kind of spread apart, so killing them, like, you can't really kill them that much faster. You have to kind of wait for them to spawn. So killing them faster, it doesn't give you more gold or whatever, really. If there's a spot where there's a whole bunch of trolls that continuously spawn, then that will definitely be a thing. And actually, if there is, that would be the best next spot for me to go. And I think there is. I think here, as you go down, so I normally go down here. This area has brown bears and some bandits and occasionally a troll. There's some goblins around here. And I went through it to check what's here. And here it's kind of the same thing. There's a couple of large spiders and yeah, the occasional goblin as well. Right here by the beach, there's I saw drake. And I saw troll, and there was some gorgons and stuff. So, ooh, I just noticed that UI scale is too big for me to close that. I need to at least see the minus, and I need to at least see the close icon. So, the drakes and gorgons I can't take on, so there's no point going there. But I believe if you go south from, so if you just follow this road out of town, and you take this road. On this island here, either at this bridge and that bridge, or somewhere on here, there's trolls. Now, I don't know how many there are, but I think that might be the spot that we go to farm trolls, because I think trolls will get our skills up from where we currently are at about 60. I think they go up to like 8 or so points above where they are. And I think the trolls are difficulty 60, so they'll take me up to 68. You know, so I might go and get all my skills up to 68, my archery and my beast mastery, and also like the things that are associated with archery also go up. So martial prowess and what's the other one? Vigor goes up when you attack as well. So we could, in theory, get those up to 68 as well. But I think the archery and beast mastery will get up to 68 long before the vigor and martial prowess does. So it might not be worthwhile to continue farming them there in order to get that up. So I think that's going to be the thing. I think we're basically going to get our combat skills up as high as we can, and in between, whenever we can, we're going to be doing some taming. The other thing that I've thought about trying is the taming missions. I've done some of them at the low levels, so the current level that I'm at is like 48 taming, and there's a category from 40 to 60, which is taming the bears. And so when you take that mission, it spawns 6 or 8 specialized instance bears somewhere in the area. And you can go and tame them, and then when you tame them, they just disappear. So it's not like you don't tame them and you have them as a pet. You tame them and they disappear, and your goal is to tame 5 of them or 6 of them or whatever it is, and then the mission's complete. You get a little bit of gold in your bank, and then it counts as you doing a mission. And then you go back to the town, you take another mission, and so on and so forth. So the idea is to just kind of loop over and do that over and over again. I think there's some achievements related to doing that. is it renown? It's there's something somewhere. I'm sure it's. Oh, it's this bounty hunter one. You complete one mission from mission dispatcher. Now, I think the taming missions and the regular missions both count towards that. So you get some renown for doing it. I think it's just to help you in between the gaps where the thing that you're taming has become a little bit easy to tame and it doesn't give a lot of skill gains and it becomes too tedious to find like 100 of them to tame. Because I think people were saying that like to get to GM there are certain sections where you have to tame hundreds if not thousands of the same type of pet. So doing those missions helps you a little bit because they're kind of like I don't know if the skill gains from them is bumped a little bit so that you kind of always get the same skill rate for based on where you are as opposed to like the 40 to 60 range. So if you're doing the 40 to 60 one, which is say the bears, I don't think it's just as good for you as taming an animal that would be 40 difficulty, right? Because for example, the brown bears is 41, right? Which is 1% higher. So in theory, taming the brown bears should give you more skill gains than doing the missions. But I don't think it works like that. I think like the missions specifically, well maybe they don't give you more skill gains per tame, but they put a whole bunch of the bears in one spot, so you can tame like 6 or 7 of them in one go as opposed to having to look for them one at a time. And the problem with taming brown bears is you can only have 5, so if you tame the 5th one and then you see another one, you have to release one of them and kill it and then tame the other one, and that whole thing becomes a process. It's nice to do it that way because then you kill the bears, you can get the leather and stuff from them as well. But it's probably not the most efficient. The only problem is sometimes the missions are far apart and it can take you quite a while to get from the one spot to the other spot. So I want to see how much wood I have in these. I think Aurum is the one with the stone. Okay, so that's not an issue. Cuprum has more stone and then 260 wood. I think we need 1,000 wood, so that's 260 wood. And then we've got 316, so that's 560 wood, 570 wood, 570 wood, and another 300, so that's 860, and then we've got 2002. So I think that's all the wood we need for right now. So let's see what we have. Carpentry. I'm going to pull out I'm going to leave that 5 wood there so that we have it. I'm going to split this stack so that there's 1. And I'm going to Oh, I just realized the sound from the game is going out to my speakers. Let me fix that. I've got the music turned off from the game, so just give me a second to relaunch the game. It'll that thing is always loud. what's going on here. Sorry, let me just fix this as well. That should not be there, that should be there. Sorry, that's not supposed to do that, but now I'm getting the sound through my headphones, so that probably means that's working now. So that should get us with me. Sorry, I've been having so many technical things on this stream, but hopefully we got them all sorted out now. So let me check if I think maybe I can take everything with me now and I don't have to come back. Got the boards. What's the other thing I need? I need the stone and the iron. So I don't have any stone here, so I'll have to process it. But I can take the iron probably. What's it, 140? Can I carry that? It's going to make it a little bit heavy. But that's good because that means we can process what we need, and then we can head out to the house and build it. And then we can come back and do the fabrication stuff. Oh, what's going on here? Let me close iTunes. iTunes doesn't need to be open. We don't really need the vitality for crafting bricks and boards, but we might as well get it here. It's on the way. So luckily everything that we need we can craft at the carpentry workshop, so workbench. So we'll just stop down there, get that done, and then we'll head to our plot and build up the shack. I mean, it literally is a little shack. It's the smallest house I think that you can build. The smallest plot is 12 by 12, and this shack needs like I think 7 by 8 or something. So it doesn't even fill up the smallest plot. But basically what we want to have is we just want to have a little building, because when you place containers in a building and you place things in those containers, people can't like access them. So the everything that you place outside your in your plot, like on the ground, like the tables or the whatever, you can lock down containers on top of them. So you could put a chest or a crate or something down on the floor, or you know, on a table or whatever, and lock it down. That only makes it so people can't take the container. It does, but it doesn't make the things inside the container. It doesn't prevent people from taking them. So what we really need is we need a place to store things that we craft, so that we can craft a bunch of items that's going to give us skill gains, but that we don't have craft orders for. And then we want to store them somewhere so that we can later get the craft orders and then hand them in. Because the stuff that we're creating for skill gains is not necessarily stuff that sells well, it's just stuff that's resource efficient to craft. So the craft orders is just a good way to effectively sell them for money, right? You can craft items and sell them to an NPC for some gold. That might even give you more gold than what the craft orders does, but then you have to do a bunch, sell them, and then craft a bunch. But the craft order consumes the item as you craft it, and it doesn't add any weight. So that's why it's so useful. it's too far away. Should have put this away. I don't need it, but that's fine. Where's the... Oh, there's the wood and the wood boards, okay. So just to manage this a little bit easier, I'm gonna empty out the wood from the horses' packs. And then once I do that, I'll dismiss them so that I know which ones I'm done with. When you craft a lot here, you tend to learn who's here a lot. So Tenaxis is here quite a lot. Lanfa's only been here recently, but I also see him a lot here. Maybe it's just over the weekend. We kind of got a... It's the spot where we put our plot is... It's a little bit strange. It's not a particularly convenient spot. It was almost like the first spot that I found that like had enough space that wasn't mixed in with a whole bunch of houses. But in order to get there, you kind of have to go through a whole bunch of houses, so it's not going to be obvious to find either. But there's plenty of open space around it, and it's actually somewhere in a bottleneck. So if we can manage to expand our plot to be full size, and there is enough space, I checked that you can make it the largest size a plot can be, but barely. There's like a rock and some trees in the way. So which is why I'm worried that if somebody comes and places their plot right next to ours, we won't be able to do that. But okay, so this is... Pretty sure this was Ferris. Yes, so let's just dismiss that one. So we need 500 boards. We might have more wood than we need, so I'll stop when we have 500 boards. Well, I think we have just more than enough, so we might as well just clear it all out. So what we want to do, kind of want to do is we want to extend our plot to the largest size possible, just to know that we will be able to. Increasing the size of your plot does increase the taxes that you have to pay every week. But at the moment we've got the subscription, so we don't pay taxes. It just makes it free. But even if we don't have that, on the largest size plot, the taxes are like 4,000 gold a week. Which, if you're not playing, is a lot, but if you're playing, it's not that hard to do. It takes us about an hour right now to get that. So we'd have to play 1 hour a week to be able to afford that. And more likely, if we play for 4 hours, you know, in a 4-hour session, we could pay a month's worth of taxes. So that's not so much of an issue. The main problem is it's going to cost 700 platinum to get it to that size. And we just, the way that we're set up at the moment, it's going to take forever to make that. I think even if we got like 10 other players to join us and we create a guild and we all grind for gold the way that I'm doing now, it's still going to take forever, because then, you know, rather than 700 platinum, we each have to get 100 platinum, and even 100 platinum will take long the way I'm doing it now. I managed to get 10 platinum so far in like a week, but that would mean you'd have to do that 10 times, so it would take all 10 people 10 weeks to get it. which, I mean, that's something you could do, but I mean, that's 10 people, right? If it's one person, that would be 100 weeks, which is 2 years. 2 years of just grinding for gold that doesn't seem feasible to me. So what we want to do is we want to put the house up there so we can store stuff, and then we can kind of use that in the meanwhile, so in the meantime, so we don't have to worry so much about getting all the other stuff set up. And then we can use that as our kind of like resupply spot where we can move things between characters and so on, because right now we have to put things on a table and then lock it down so that other people can't take it, but they can see what's there, right? So we have to like, oh, did I not bring it up? Okay, let's make more boards. So that should give us 50. Should get us to about 450. Probably have to move the stone in as well to make some bricks. And we can dismiss this. So how much stone is here? 132. So we have to bring this down to 260. And so obviously so grinding at a graveyard, that's something that like almost any new player can do. You maybe need a day or two to get to the point where you can survive at the graveyard. You can basically create a new character, train the skills to 30, go to the sewers and get your skills to maybe 38, 40 or so, and then go to the graveyard and get them to 58, right? It'll take you a few days to get to 58. So that's fairly easy to do. But obviously that doesn't give you great rewards. Like that's a good starting point to buy. At the end of the graveyard, you can save up some gold to buy a plot and a house. It doesn't take too long to get the 10 platinum, and the resources are pretty easy. So that's, as a solo player, if you weren't planning to join a guild, or even if you wanted to just be a PvPer and like you want to kind of like, you know, lone wolf it and not let people know where you are, whatever. That's a good strategy, right? You don't want people to find you. You can do that and be on your own. But you know, from there on, it becomes a little bit more difficult because, you know, once you then want to start like hunting players or, you know, setting up a shop or whatever, it becomes a little bit more difficult because, you know, because it's relatively easy to get the stuff that you're then getting. Most players can get that themselves and they don't have a need to buy it. I think the markets that there are in place at the moment kind of leans towards people so that was Cuprum. Yes. Dismiss. People are buying, I think, things that that's hard for them to get on their own, which means you're probably best off trying to do things that you need groups for, like setting up a group where you can get items that you need a group for, and then selling it to players who don't have access to a group to do it, but have the gold from farming or grinding or crafting or whatever to get it. And I think that's where the core of the economy is. And things like tamers can have a pet transferred to them when they're close to the skill level to tame it, but below the skill level to tame it. So I, for example, don't have the skill level now to tame a giant beetle, but I can probably have somebody transfer it to me. Actually, I'm a little bit low for that, but when I get a little bit higher, that might be the case. So and you know, and that might be something that I do to, like, you know, improve my my potency as a tamer, right? If I have a giant beetle as a pet, you know, I can maybe go into a more difficult dungeon, or I can take on, you know, stronger enemies or whatever. And so it might be worthwhile for me to buy that pet from somebody else, and that market exists because if I get that pet and it dies, my level is too low to resurrect it, so I'd have to buy another one. And so if that pet helps me get gold faster, like if it's 10% or 20% faster, and I have it long enough to make the gold that it costs me to buy it, it would be worth my gold to consistently buy that pet from another tamer if I can. The problem is finding a tamer that can tame that and transfer it to you and is willing to accept the price that you're willing to pay, because there's no real market for it. You have to like just ask people, and that's where the trick comes in. The server population being as low as it is, that's the real trick. Like, you can't just go into a town, find the spot where tamers hang out. Like, there isn't. It's not like carpentry where there's a workbench where everybody is. If somebody needs a bow, they can probably just run here and ask the people around here, like, hey, can you make me a bow? And they'll say, yeah, sure. And then they'll be able to craft it. There's no one particular spot for tamers to hang out, so it's a little bit harder to find them. But I guess you can use like Discord or something, right? You can go to the LOA Discord and go into the trade channel and say like, hey, you know, I'm a tamer looking for a giant beetle or whatever, and then somebody will probably respond there. Somebody's training their manifestation skill or something. There's usually somebody on the other side of this building. Nope. Where are they? Oh, they're over there, they're teleporting or something. Where's the bricks going? Oh, it's over there. So another 50 boards, so there should be another 250 wood in one of the horses, probably one of these two. Jeez, I'm quite glad we had about 300 boards available, because otherwise we would have spent the whole night doing this. Actually, we have been spending the whole night doing this. I guess I started streaming a little bit later than I usually do, but it's been about almost 2 hours. We still have to finish this up and then go and build the house, and probably by then it'll be 12:30. So I don't know if we'll be able to get some of the fabrication stuff done. I'm definitely going to check the craft orders again after this. I should have actually done it before I started crafting this, because we spent a bit of time chopping down wood, so they would have reset already. We need more, especially for this. We've got, for carpentry we have 100 crates, which is nice. It's a nice big one. But we definitely need more. Fabrication, we have like 9,000 cloth, so we're gonna finish this one really soon. So I should be able to move this stone now, which means I can dismiss Aurum. Oops. Let's see what's in here. Nothing. Let's dismiss it. If it turns out I miscalculated and we're still short some wood, that's going to be annoying. But I think this one has wood. Yeah. We need 250 wood roughly, and there's 316 here, so the stone is there. But how many bricks do we have? 73. It's 11:53 p.m. now, so it's almost midnight. I normally stream. The plan officially was for me to stream from 10 p.m. to midnight during the week, because 10 p.m. is kind of when I finish everything off, and obviously stopping at 12 p.m. so that I can go to bed. Most days so like at 9:30 I bring the dogs in and finish all the stuff with packing away the dishes and stuff for dinner. So right after that I usually come into my office and start streaming. So normally I start at about 9:30, and I usually don't notice that it reaches midnight. So I normally stream till about 12:30. So I end up streaming like 3 hours instead of the 2 that I'm meant to. Especially on weekends. If it's on weekends and I'm streaming like at night, I don't feel as obligated to go to bed at like, just after 12. In a lot of cases I only go to sleep at like 2 a.m. anyway, so if I stream till 1, it doesn't make that big of a difference. So usually after 12, between 12 and 12:30, I'll stream until I get to a point where I finish something off, and then that's where I'll end. Sometimes I like to stream on the weekends during the day, because then I don't have that problem, right? Like if I come in and play games at 2 in the afternoon, I'll often just start streaming and then play through to like 6 o'clock or 6:30 or whatever, and then I have a longer stream, like a 4-hour stream or whatever. But yeah, unfortunately I've got the full-time job, and then I belong to a club where I have certain obligations as well, which it's not an everyday thing, but there's a lot of days when I have to go to meetings and do other things. And then I have to do all the house-related stuff, taking care of the pets, making dinner, all that kind of stuff. And then only after that can I stream, so that's why I can only start so late. And it's a little bit tricky because for us that's late at night, so both the South African and the European audience, 2:30, starts to, I guess, peter out at that point. Like there isn't that many people watching streams that late at night. I tend to watch streams that late because that's like, well, actually even later usually. Usually I would like go to bed and then open my tablet and put a stream on, because I normally go to bed at 12 and go to sleep at like 1:32, because that's when my fiance comes to bed. So I normally spend an hour or 2 watching streams. Obviously since I've been streaming, I usually finish at 12:30, and then I wrap up the stream and I check my emails and do a bunch of things, so I end up going into the house at 1. So now I don't really have that much time to watch stuff, but for the most part, the 10 to 12 slot, actually, I get more American audiences, because that's, if you go back, 7 hours or 8 hours or whatever it is earlier, you tend to get kind of the afternoon, late afternoon sometimes, depending on the time zone. And so you get, that's more when people, get off work or have some time free to do something. So that's a little bit of a problem, because because I'm in the EU time zone and I play on EU servers. If I ever want to like play with the audience or do anything, it's going to be tricky, because either everybody will have to join EU servers, or it's going to be like night owls basically. A6. Should be able to pull that in, which means I can dismiss this. So I mean, if it ever gets to, become something more serious, it would be difficult, because I would have to switch from like a late night times, like stream time, to something more manageable, like 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. or something like that, my time, which then is going to fall much more into the European audience. Because I know where I stream now, I kind of get a little bit of US audience and a little bit of like Australian audience, because like the later half of my stream is just late enough that some people wake up. So it'll be like early morning, it'll be like 7 a.m. for them. So that makes it so some people can like tune in, but they can't watch a whole stream, right? And it's a bit of a problem because if I ever do a series or something where there's progression and people want to stay up to date, and I mean that's what you should be doing, right? That's what I should be trying to do, is making content that people can follow along with, because that's going to make people tune in to every stream and keep my viewership numbers up and everything. But the way I approach it is just like, I'd rather stream at a certain time because it's convenient for people, not because I'm, setting a trap for them to like always come back, right? I don't want to be the person who writes the cliffhangers at the end of a season's episode to make you wait 6 months or 8 months or whatever just to find out how that tension point is resolved. Like, I know that's what gets people coming back to the next season of a series. But I don't. I don't want to gimmick my way. Like, this isn't my income. I'm actually trying to make affiliate not because I want to be able to get subscriptions. Like, I don't really care about subscriptions. I'm actually more interested in the ability to add VIP and stuff like that, right? Things like Discord integration and some of the Streamlabs features requires you to be affiliate or partner for it to work, right? So, like, I care more about the limitations that it puts on what you can do in your stream than like where the money is coming from. So let's see, we should now have 500 boards, 100 bricks, and 140 iron, I think. I think that's everything we need. Perfect. We dismissed our horses, so let's see. On the dot midnight, so let's see if we can get this done and maybe start on some of the fabrication stuff. So I want to see crates is what we're looking for. Fancy chairs, fishing rods, nope. Don't want any of that. So here's where you buy the plots and the houses. You buy the plot, you purchase the land deed, that'll give you a plot. And then here's the houses, they give you a little model of it so you can kind of see what it looks like. If I zoom in. So this one just looks like a little wooden shack. This is the one we have, it's 4.5 platinum, roughly. And then there's a bigger version of that that looks a little bit more like a cottagey type thing. And then they've got like the... I actually like this house. I would have probably bought this one if it fit on my plot. But it's 17 by 11, so you have to expand your plot to 17 before you can place it. I like it because it's got like a covered outside area where you can put workstations and things down and people can get to it. And then this is the bigger one with more space, but this one is 20 plat. And this is what you'll mostly see around here. Most people have built this for shops and things, and then you'll see a bit of this as well. These ones are less popular, but I think people used to use them because they're more resource efficient. We specifically bought the small one because we wanted it to fit on the smallest size plot. And the reason for that, like I said before, is if you pick up your plot and move it, it doesn't cost you anything, but you don't get refunded for any of the gold that you spent to expand it. So if we don't expand it, we can pick up a plot and move it. So I want to place that house before I expand it. I don't want to expand it continuously. I want to do it like all in one shot. That way if people build next to me or whatever, I'm not locked in. I can pick up my deed and move my plot somewhere else. without worrying about it. Okay, I will lose the resources and the money that I spent on the house, but that's specifically why we bought like the smallest house. Cloth padded helm is what we want. But I'm thinking now fabrication's at 60, that'll take us to 70. There's an issue here with the current way the craft order system works, is that I think the gold and the rewards that you get from them are the same regardless of the number, the quantity. I think the enchants that you get is better with the bigger one. So in theory you should take the small one just because we get more done. But I'm going to take the big one just so that we have enough capacity to turn it all in. That might be a mistake, but I think that's what we're going to go for. And I'm just going to check the blacksmith as well. I almost never get the... Or I have never gotten a single blacksmith craft order that that is the thing that I want to craft. But I think it's also the vendor that I check the least. So, but it's not because I check it the least that I don't get it. I haven't gotten it because I learned all the recipes, which means I have the smallest chance possible to get the thing that I'm looking for, which is unfortunate. So this will be my first time building a house now, so I want to see what the interface looks like and how we do it. I think we can you just go decorate and then you place things down. I think everything inside your house is automatically locked. But I think I need to check how the other characters... I think all the characters on your account automatically get access to it. And I think you can add other characters to it. So that if we have guild members or whatever that we want to give access to the stuff, we can. But I suspect what happens if you give them access to the house, they will then, also be able to, take any of the items in there and so on. So we'll have to see if we use that. If we use that for guild purposes or whatever, we might have to figure out. Only storage chests will be automatically locked down in a house. Everything else you have to lock yourself. Okay. But it's the same thing. If the storage chest is locked down, you can still take things out of it, right? I mean, the main thing is like people can't just walk into your house and take what they want. The fact that it's inside the house means, kind of means that it's safe for you to store things there and not have people take it. Because right now we just have like a table on a plot, and not out of your storage chest that your house allows. Oh, the bandits are right there. Let's ignore them. Oh, sounds like they're coming for me. I heard a sword. So let's do, what's it like that? Iron boards added, and I think it's 140 iron. Boom. And I got boulder. So that gives renown. There's a... Need 1,000 renown. How do I know how much I have? 590. Okay. So it says locked. Assuming I can open it, nobody else can. A house. House sign. I'm assuming there's a... Ah, okay. So there's an interface specifically for the house. Existential shack. Okay, perfect. So just like you have a lockdown for the plot, you have one for the building. You can lock things down. The building has a container slot, and then I'm guessing co-owners can lock and unlock things, use secure containers and everything, whereas friends can just come in, I'm guessing. Can open locked doors and use assigned secure containers only in this house. And yeah, so they can use secure containers, but so can they. So if I had like a guild member or somebody, I could put a container in here and add them as a friend, and then they'll be able to use it. But I'd also have to assign that container to them, so they don't automatically get access to everything. Co-owners get everything. Do I need to? Oh, okay, no, I can't. I was just going to say, I can't add my other characters as co-owners because they have to be near the house for me to add that, I'm guessing. And I can't log in with both at the same time, so that's perfect. We don't really need anything in here. I think what we're just going to do is we're going to make like, I don't know, 2 crates or 2 chests or something. Just plop them down here. We don't really need anything else. That's literally all that we need it for, is just the secure containers. And it's cool that they don't give you like a... I saw there was a little key here with the open your key ring. So I thought that they would like give you a key and add it to your key ring or something like that, or... but I guess it's not, it's just like this. So that's perfect. So now we just need something. I guess we have to look at the crates, how much they can store. But I'm not too worried about it. So long as I can put things in there and transfer them, that's good. I just don't want to have to do what I've had to do up until now, is like place the item down and lock it down and remember to do it and everything. So hopefully once we have the chest in place, or once we have some secure container in place, we could just go into the house, drop the stuff in the container, and then log out. He's doing the summon mount shuffle. I don't know, a lot of the casting animations, like I'm guessing the summon mount animation is just actually a casting animation. It looks like it was copied from dance moves or something, but like bad dance moves from behind. I guess it would make sense if there was like some kind of particle effect, or you know, like an orb or something that is forming. But when he has nothing in his hands and he's not casting anything, it just kind of looks like he's just like jiggling his shoulders for no reason. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Don't clip that. I wonder if you... Ooh. Let's actually always chop these trees when I see them. Since we've dropped everything off, we might as well. Good. Oh. I always think they're coming for me when they run like that. Actually don't know... Ooh, 74.4. We got some skills. And now of course we don't have any wood to make a crate, so maybe we should harvest some wood. How much do we have? 5. A crate is like 2. I guess we do. I think crates are the only containers we can make. 15. Yes. Oh, did it too early. Initiate. New players. Well, I guess new characters. It's not necessarily a new player. So we should have kind of coming in from the wrong side here. We should I don't think I'm going to fetch. Let me just make this because might as well get rid of the. Can actually. Oh, I can make ash boards as well. I should have brought the ash. We'll just craft these that we have. Just because our bank's probably going to start getting full. Now that we can transfer things from one character to another, we're going to end up with everything in this guy's bank. So I have to try and remember to convert all the things to their crafted counterparts to save some weight. I'm not doing Blightwood yet because that's still not trivial. Oh no, fizzle. Okay, that looks like we did that. So let's see what we have. So we have chests and crates. Is there chest uses 4? So a chest uses 4, but do they keep? I don't actually know if it holds more. I know crates are the thing that we're crafting at the moment for skill, so we might as well craft them. Okay, we have one. That's good. Something at least. So I'm not gonna. I have like more than one horse load of cloth, but I don't think I'm going to take all of that. I think I'm just going to fill up. I'm going to drop off what I can. Actually, it's probably faster to go up here rather than go around, because this rock formation is a little bit lengthy. So let's put those boards in carpentry and the wood as well. Cotton we can put in fabrication. Oh, actually we have okay, actually I'm gonna leave this because that's just gonna take longer to do as well. Actually no, I'm gonna take a horse because once if I fill my backpack with this, I'm not gonna be able to craft anything, because you do end up with more weight when you start crafting. So I don't need to mine anything right now. I thought this lies sideways usually, doesn't it? Is that not like a thing that happens? Like certain tools, like the spear and the Volge and the mining pick tends to lie sideways. So we'll get one horse, grab the cloth for that, and oops, Stable Master's over here. Nope, my bed. Let's just grab iron one. Oh, there it is. A little bit of lag or something. Clear our inventory a little bit so that we have maximum space. So in carpentry, do we have? Yes, we have carpentry. That. We'll grab some cobalt for some reason. How heavy is this crate? There's only one. That's fine. We can keep it with us. And then we need fabrication, and we're going to open this pack. I'm going to take. Let's just look at the weight. It's 10 weighs 1, so we need 399. Oh, I believe that should. For some reason, if you try and put 4,000 in, it doesn't fit. Okay, so since we're going to be crafting, I'm going to do the thing that I usually do and just ensure that my vitality is maximized. Since I haven't received confirmation one way or the other that it affects your skill gains. Well rested, perfect. If it doesn't hurt to get well rested, at least not when we're this close. Running that little bit is not a major inconvenience. We just got a crafting order, so I don't think there'll be a new one, but let me just check in case. Yeah, we're still on cooldown. So, pack, let's split this and take like, let's just take 1,000 to start with. Leave that open there. Oops, no, not that. Cloth padded helm, and so we need 60 and another 80 of them, so we need a lot. So this will let us attempt 100. I don't think 100 will even get us to the first order. Let's just also check that our skills aren't close to capping. This is going to be a little bit tedious, and we probably won't even finish because I've got so much cloth that, well, I know it's 12:22 now. I can go to 1, I think. It actually goes through materials quicker than you think because it uses 10 at a time. So usually you run out of bolts of cloth faster than you think you would. But if we do end up getting some skill gains, so the frame rate's gonna drop a little bit here. I just want to make sure again. I believe we can craft this up all the way up to 70, but I want to check it because if we need to stop at 60, then I need to know that now before we get there. So. So it says cloth padded down from 50 to 65. Okay, yeah. So So at 65 we have to stop, and I don't think we're going to get to 65 off of what we have here. At least not from the craft orders that we have. $660, $650, yeah, so it's definitely 10. 59.9, 60. So as we get the skill gains, the craft orders will start going faster and faster. Honestly, yeah, we will possibly get through this craft order with the set of cloth, because we have like 53 attempts still, and we only need to make another 34. So we actually hit an interesting milestone now. So at 60 fabrication, I believe you can start making leather saddlebags, which is an actual item that's in demand. Most of the things before that, I mean, there's maybe some demand, but I mean, you're not reliably going to sell any of that, I don't think. The cloth armor, maybe the mage hats and stuff, people use that. And mage hats aren't too bad on resources comparatively. But I think leather saddlebags is something that characters with resources actually use, because, you know, every once in a while they'll lose a pack horse to something while they're out in the wild, and then they won't have the skill to... Well, I don't even know if the pack horses can be resurrected the way that normal pets can. Actually, yeah, I think they can. I think they get winded and everything like normal. But their crafters typically don't have the skills to do that, so then they will just go buy a new one. So they'll either buy the pack horse, or they'll buy a horse and then either tame a horse themselves, because that you can technically do if you've got some if you've just got 30 animal law and 30 animal taming, you can go tame a horse yourself. But you'll usually need the saddlebags. Oops. Okay, so let's... This is gonna give us... Yeah, we should be able to do that, so let's just dismiss that. Okay. So let's see what we get for that. Some flowing threads and 1,300 gold. And a bandana recipe, which we already have. And we're on our last order, so it would be nice if we got something. We have to get to 65, and then we can learn the next one, which is, I think, a linen helm. So neither that's going to help us. So you got one left for 80,000. Let's make sure our vitality is still good. So that gives us 300 attempts for 80, which I'm pretty confident we'll get. And we'll see what we get as a reward from that. If we don't get a reward from that, we'll do this 5 bandanas just to cycle the craft orders again. These won't give us skill gains, which is why I haven't been doing them. But 5 bandanas really isn't a lot of cloth, so since that'll cycle the craft orders, it's probably worth doing. This one is a bit more material, but since we've already done like 40 of them, and they're trivial, so we'll know exactly how much materials it is. I think it's either 4 or 6 per bandana, so it's like 56 times 4, which is like 220 or something. 224 bolts of cloth, which, yeah, I mean, that's at this point that's almost a negligible amount of cloth, so we might as well do it. But hopefully we'll do the 5 bandanas, it'll cycle and it'll give us another cloth padded helm one, and then we'd rather do that, then we're not going to finish that. Can save this for when we get to a point where we don't have any craft orders and we have the materials. I'd rather wait a while and check for new craft orders to cycle it rather than do 60 of these, actually. But it all depends. If we still have time left in the stream and we might as well do it, it's going to be easier. Waiting for craft orders is something that I do when I'm not streaming. Just to make it, obviously a little bit easier on viewers. So yeah, actually watching this crafting is not that exciting, but the method is like the thing, right? It took me a little while to figure out what you're supposed to do, because I don't know even know if it's common knowledge. It probably is for people that have been playing for a while, but I think for new players, it's not described on the wiki or anything like that, right? The kind of the rules are described in the wiki, but like the best way to use those rules isn't. They'll kind of say, craft this item until you hit this skill, and then craft this item and whatever. But they don't really explain to you how to set up your craft orders so that you only get the ones, or that you increase the chances of getting the ones that you need for the skill gains, so that you can turn in more of the things that you craft from training the skill to convert it to gold. I mean, you can just sell them to the NPC, and like I said, there's even a chance that that'll give you more gold, but it won't be as quick or as easy, considering how long this process takes. I mean, I guess I need the gold, so if there's a more gold efficient way, you could maybe do that. But if it's so much faster that you get it done and then you can go get gold some other way, that's a better rate. I think overall that's probably the better strategy. I'd rather train the fabrication skill, get it over with, and then switch back to my tamer and go grind for gold. Because crafting orders, their gold rewards it's clearly not working as intended, because crafting 100 of an item giving you so little gold as opposed to crafting 5 of an item, like they obviously didn't balance that. So for me, doing the crafting orders is less about the ability to get gold back for crafting it, and more about the ability to continuously craft like I am now and not run out of inventory space. Right? It's a little bit better once you get to maximum strength and you can carry 400 stone. But like when you start off and you can only carry like 180 or whatever it is, whatever your stats start with, doing this way helps a lot. 68, so another 12. So if you look at, for example, well, actually, we can do this, right? So I turned in a craft order for 80 of these cloth padded helms, and I got this amount of gold, 1,316. I didn't get any other gold, and I didn't spend any gold on anything. Now, if I go like this, and I ask this guy, how much will you give me for this cloth padded helm? He says 3 coins, right? So 80 times 3 is only 240 gold, so we definitely got a lot more gold doing it this way, right? So I would argue that this is worth it already, right? We're getting much more gold back than we would have gotten if we just crafted them and turned them in. Now I don't know if we get a consistent reward for that. So like, would we always get 1,300 gold for 80 cloth padded helms? If we sometimes get 1,300 gold for 5 cloth padded helms, that would be even better. And if that is the case, it's probably much better to, like when I had the option for 5 or 80, it's probably much better to take the one for 5. I don't know that for a fact though, so I couldn't say. Let's see. See, he got a new order. I took long enough that I got a new order before turning it in. Now we're at 62. We went up from about 60 to 62 and a half with 80. Now we've got an order for 100, which I'm going to take just so that I have enough orders to carry on crafting this. And then I'm going to turn this order in. Beast leather. I don't actually think I have this. I think I have bowl leather, but I don't have beast leather. So that's good, that's something that we needed. Where did it put that order? There. Okay, so we just turned the other order in. I just leave a little gap between the ones that I'm holding off on doing that. So that means we can do this. We don't have to use this one. This is kind of like a low resource one that we can use to cycle when we want to. We had 1,316. We now have 2,620. It was the same. It was also 80 of cloth padded helms. So it was the exact same crafting order. And 131. We didn't get exactly the same gold amount. So there's obviously some variation in it, but it was close. So it is possible that there's some variance, but it's in the same ballpark, which is great. Like I would like it to be some variability, but have it be relatively consistent. Can carry on doing this because we have to get to 65, so we just have to keep an eye on it. If we hit 65 before we finish this, you know, we'll stop and keep it as an unfinished craft order. But my guess is, because our skill is higher, we'll need more than the 80 that we needed. So 80 got us to 62.5, but we'll need more than 80 to get the other 2.5 to 65, just because the success rate is higher, skill gain rate is lower. So I think we might actually finish. I actually think we almost definitely will finish the 100 order. I don't know how close we're going to be after that. It might take long enough though that after we finish this order we can check for a new one, and it'll be great if we do hit 65, because if we hit 65 it means we can learn the next recipe and then check for an order for the next recipe, because right now we can't get the recipe for the next thing because we can't get the crafting order for the next thing because we don't have the recipe, or we have the recipe, we haven't learned it, we don't know it. So that's part of the trick to getting the craft order for the thing that you want. We're getting so many cloth padded helm orders because it's like one of the hardest, it's the hardest recipe we know effectively, and it's trying to give us orders up to our skill level. And so it's great because when you start, you don't know as many recipes, so it tends to give you the thing that you want very often. As you go up in skill and you learn more recipes, i.e. you learn the ones that you need to be crafting to gain skill, the chances of getting the one that you want decreases, but you're still maximizing the chance of getting that. Like, there's no real way to get that one without having certain things along the way. Uh, 32, yeah, so yeah, we've got like 8 skill points or 7 skill points, and we're already 33 in. 9 skill points. 9 skill points for 35 crafts. That's pretty good. My guess is we might even finish this 100 with the cloth that we have, because we have like 190 attempts. We only need to make 70 or so. 60. Yeah, we'll definitely finish this. And we have more cloth in the bank, so we can actually carry on past this. So one of the things, like, I could learn leather saddlebags now, because once I get to about 65, like at 60, your chances of crafting it's really low. It'll be quite wasteful to be crafting it with the leather that we have. But at 65, you start to get a fairly decent success rate, so that you could actually learn it and craft it and make some money off of selling the saddlebags. Considering people typically sell it for like 1,000 gold each, and it's, I don't know how much leather it costs to make it, like maybe 5, which is 2 hides, and I get 2 hides from like a brown bear, and I kill a lot of brown bears when I'm taming them. So effectively every brown bear I kill is like worth 1,000 gold. But of course you can't necessarily sell them at the rate that you can craft them. But I'm going to actually hold off on doing that, because once I learn the leather saddlebags recipe, I'm going to start getting the craft orders for them, and I don't want the craft orders for them. I don't want to decrease the chances of getting the thing that I actually want to be crafting at that level, which is linen helm. So I'm actually going to go all the way to like GM before I learn all the other recipes. Now yes, that is going to slow down my ability to make gold from this crafter. Like, effectively this crafter isn't making much gold. I'm making the odd 1,000 here and there from doing craft orders, but this definitely is my source of gold. But once I get to like GM with one of the things and I learn all the recipes and I actually don't care about craft orders anymore, and I just use all the resources to craft things that are in demand to players, where the prices are totally out of whack with what NPCs charge for things. Like, people charge double for arrows and bandages what NPCs charge you. So I mean, then you would expect people to also charge, twice, 3, maybe even 5 times what these crafting orders give you. And I think that's part of what people are saying, the crafting orders is useless or is out of whack, unbalanced, because if you can get so much more gold from a player, then why would you do the crafting orders? Why would you waste your resources on that? And I think most people have at least for the things that they mostly need, the armor type that they use and the weapons that they use or whatever, they probably have a crafter. So the main thing that they don't want to do is not so much crafting it, because if you're just crafting like an armor set or whatever, that doesn't take that long. Oops, I have to stop. I hit 65. So we're a little bit short on this. tempted to finish it off. It is fairly close, but what I might do is I'll keep it just like I have this one as an option to cycle it when I need to. I can do that, but for right now it's going to be more cost efficient for me. This is 140 cloth, this will be like 24 or whatever, so I'll rather use that one to cycle. So always trying to be efficient with your resources. And I don't think we took long enough to reset the craft order, but I'm just going to check. Oh, we did. Okay, so there's a new craft order which we can get, so we don't have to finish that one, which is great. But we don't want to get the craft order yet, because the next thing that we're supposed to craft is I think, did I say linen helm up to 74, and okay, let me just go learn the recipe. Well, actually no, I can see it from here. So just to give you a, if you don't pull up the wiki or whatever and figure out what it is and you want to know how to do it, you can see all the recipes from here. Oh, that's annoying. I actually can't see how much it uses because I have so much cloth in my inventory. So it's 15. Yeah, so it'll be 15 for all of them. So you want to look at the skill and how much resources it uses, and you can add 25 onto, is it 25? Yeah, I think it becomes trivial 25 above the skill level. So yeah, so we were doing 40 cloth padded helm, and the reason we've been doing it is because it has 10 resources. Nothing below, or nothing at or above 40 is going to use 10. And so if you look at all other things, this goes up this way, and then this also goes up that way. So there's nothing, this is all going to be above 40, right? We're going to start hitting issues when we hit 76, because it's going to start giving us leather legs as an option. I learned this somewhere, I think, or maybe you have it when some recipes you start with. I think the padded chest, padded legs, and the padded helm you just start with. I've learned hardened chest, but that's luckily only at 88, and that's one of the things that we're going to, basically as soon as we can make it, we're going to start making it, so that's not too bad, having learned this. The leather legs we don't want to make, so that's going to come up a little bit more. So I didn't do this one perfectly either. The thing that you need to learn is banded hood or bandana. Both of these are pretty good for low level. They're the same resource requirement. It's 4 cloth, and they're from starting at 25. And so I learned both of them so that the chances of getting those craft orders was higher, at the cost of them coming up more later. So you know, you could learn one of them only, bandana or banded hood, whichever one you want. And so what you do is you look at whatever's within your skill range for the least amount of resources. So this one I believe is the one that 49 plus 25 takes us up to 74. So up to 74 you can get a craft per you'll need to use 10 cloth to craft this. Yeah, so oh, so this is, I thought it was 15. 10? So that's 15, that's 15. I'm sure this is also 15. It says you need 10 cloth to craft this. If this is 10 as well, that's really good. So we were using the padded helm because it was the lowest score. Yeah, lower skill point, which means you have a higher success chance. But once it becomes trivial, you don't get gain, so you switch to this one. It could just be that the highlight for this is wrong. So if I look at this one, oh, it says 15, and this one says 10. So this is actually perfect. We can just carry on with this. Cool. Yeah, so that's what you do. You try and find the one that's in your skill range, that has the least amount of resources needed to craft it, because the less resources it takes to craft, the more attempts you have, and you get skill gains from attempts, not successes. So it doesn't matter if it's easy or hard. The main thing is you want it to be kind of as easy as you can, while still having a chance to fail. And sometimes there'll be two options. There'll be a easier one that uses, say, 2 resources, and a slightly harder one that uses 3. In most cases, the one that uses less resources is the better bet overall. So if you have like an option to craft something for 6 cloth and one for 10 cloth, I wouldn't switch over from the one that takes 6 cloth to the one that takes 10 until the one that gives you 6 cloth doesn't give you gains anymore, because it doesn't go down evenly. So if you're like here, it stopped at 65, so at 65 it becomes trivial and we have 100% success rate. But when it's at 64.9, you know, you would expect that, like, even though our failure rate is like maybe still, you know, 5% or whatever, our chance to get a skill point, it doesn't just like evenly go to 0. It kind of drops off, and so it's worth going all the way to the edge. It kind of evens out. It would stop being worthwhile further on, but you just can't get there, if that makes sense. So we're looking for the recipe for linen helm, because that's the next thing that we need to have, and we should have it. We have, oh wow, we don't. We have linen legs and linen chest. So let's just check if we have the recipe for beast leather, because we have vile leather, and silk cloth. We don't have the recipe for beast leather, so that was a good thing to get. We already know the one for vile leather, so that's good. Bandana we definitely already have. So we've kind of been like stacking the recipes here. We'll learn them all once we get to GM, or once we get to yes, actually it'll be once we get to GM, because even when we're on the last thing, you know, we might be doing craft orders. If we get high enough skill to make the items, like the final items that people want, like the vile leather and beast leather armor and stuff, we might stop doing craft orders and just craft those things and sell them to players, at which point we can learn all the recipes, because we're not relying on the craft order thing anymore. So that means we have to take our 2000 gold that we got from that and go find that recipe. And the recipe that we need is linen helm, and chances are that one's going to be hard to find, because if people know that that's an efficient one, a lot of people are going to be buying it, or they're going to be selling it for more. So damage flowing threads. So we got a new enchantment, that's great. If we're going out to the shops, I might take the crate with me and put that down. We are going to need to take the gold, so I'll keep that. And I'm trying to think, if I find a shop that has trying to see what emote that is. Wow, that took a while, Kawhi. Did you make like a lot? Because that was like 11:19 my time. Well, probably before that, till 12:52 my time. So that's like, call it about 2 hours of chopping. That's like making tacos for a family gathering or something. It was a lot of stuff. There was tomatoes, the lettuce, and cheese. I would normally chop all these trees when I go past them, but we are running out of time, and I want to see if I can get this recipe. So I try to find a store when I can that has like either has a lot of stock. Like accumulating the recipes are hard. You have to do a bunch of craft orders. So if somebody has a bunch of them on sale, it means I know that person worked hard to do craft orders and stuff. Or if they just have good prices, like people who aren't greedy, who just, you know, they want to make some money off of the stuff that they get. Okay, so 5 people is like, you know, like for a whole family. But that's a lot. Either you're like very meticulous cook, and like you have to get everything just right. Oh, okay, so you were just keeping a company and stuff as well. That's fine too. Recipes are over here. So like this guy has a big store and he has a lot of stuff for sale, but then his prices aren't that good. I don't think he has... I think I checked for recipes and he didn't have... He has a bunch of scrolls but not recipes, and it's hard to find his stuff because his merchant's back there. This guy has like saddlebags for a decent price, for 1,000 gold. And he has all the different mounts. He doesn't have recipes. Where I found recipes was... I'm trying to remember now. I don't want to go too far in this direction because this goes all the way to, you know, wherever. I actually want to loop around, so I'm going to go this way. And that's a risk that you run when you put your shop, you know, in a certain direction. If people aren't going in that direction, they're not likely to buy from you. It's really hard to see what things are named with the labels. So that's scrolls, that's recipes, and they're labeled, I think. Recipes tailor, so that's what we're looking for. And we're looking for linen helm. Yeah, they didn't have it. Oh yeah, yeah. That's definitely the strategy. Like if you're gonna put the effort in and make it. Saber, large axe, bone dagger. No, that's all blacksmithing. Make a bunch, and then you don't have to worry about it every time. You can just put the ingredients together. Ooh, this is a whole bunch, but it's kind of all mixed together. So we're looking for linen. Oh, there's a lot of recipes for leather saddlebags. It's 1,000 gold, but that's probably worth it. You can sell one pair of leather saddlebags for 1,000 gold. So mage hat, mage robe, skirts, vial leather. Nope. Okay, this one's going to be hard to find, I think. Doesn't look like it has recipes there. It's actually nice because you can't place anything on this side of the road. It's too close to town, so all the shops are on this side. So you can just kind of run through and check. One of these might be maps, potions, weapons. Oh, these are tomes. No, it doesn't look like there's recipes. What do they sell the bandages for? Actually, just they don't have stock. I remember they don't have stock. I checked before. Yeah, they're still busy stocking up. It doesn't look like this is goods, but no recipes. Carpentry, fabrication. Oh, here's plenty of recipes. So you can see here's like a whole bunch. Dresser, leather chest, leather helm, leather legs, linen chest, linen legs. Nope. Just get an idea of what they... So this person has both a combination of a lot of recipes, and they sell them for a reasonable price. So this is typically, if I need a recipe, this is where I would try to come again. It's just a pity they don't have the one that I need. But how do I... A house sign. They didn't name the thing. Who is it? It's Min. Oh, I see Min around all the time. Okay, and how much is this? Saddles or saddle? Saddle. See if he just has saddles. Or yeah, he just has saddles. Saddles for 200 is a decent price. It means if you're buying from the NPC at that price, you're paying 300 for the horse and 200 for the saddle. This looks like recipes. What does he have? Linen. What was I looking for? Linen helm. Linen helm was what I'm looking for, and it's 1,500 gold. And it looks like he charges that for everything, which is why he still has stock. But that is fine. Getting this recipe rather than waiting to turn in craft orders to get it is going to help us so much that it's worth getting, I think. Okay, gotcha. I would have preferred to... Who's this? Siobhan. I would have preferred to... buy it from that other vendor. Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like wood is not going to... They're selling 100 ash for 1 platinum. Let me think. And that's not even the boards, that's just the wood. So if I needed 700 platinum, like, there's still stock here. I'm assuming they put more here. They probably put 6 stacks. Their boards are sold out, so people are obviously buying it. It could be that they haven't restocked in a while because they haven't been online. Falcon Auger. If that's a reasonable price to pay for it. Let's see what he... Oh, he sells bricks as well. Out of stock. Iron. Out of stock. Yeah, so I think he probably hasn't been online for a while, so it doesn't necessarily mean that it's selling a lot. 7,500 gold for 50 copper. I feel like that's expensive. Oh, we went a little bit too far. We might as well go to our house from here. Put the crate down, see how that goes. Oops. Always harvest cotton. I actually think because cotton and cloth is needed for leveling skills, like it should always be in demand. So I think I will forever be harvesting cotton, even once I've GM'd fabrication, like once I've got 100 skill. You know, even if I don't need it myself, I'll either keep it for like friends or guildmates to use, or if not, just to sell, right? Because people selling the materials, like, I guess some people just don't like gathering materials, so they're rather like fight monsters. And can I place it there? Yes. And then if I do lockdown, oh, it's a container, so it's gonna be locked down automatically, I guess. Locked. Yes, it's secure. Oh, this bug. So that gives me the crate. That's actually the first time I've opened a crate. So so it can carry only 2,000 weight, so it's not like the bank that can take 10,000. So that's something worth noting, and can only contain 100 items. So it's not like we can put an insane amount of things in there. Oh, I didn't put this away. So what I can do is with my other character, I'll just put all my cotton and all the stuff that the crafter needs in here, and then he can just pick it up. I think that's going to work well. Oh, it's 103, we're a little bit over. But I just want to check now. So we've got we should have now we should have access to craft orders. So I don't know if you learn a new recipe, if it resets the craft orders that are available. I imagine it does, because they must use, and I'm thinking like a developer now, they must use some algorithm to pick from the options that are available, and so if the options that are available changes, the result of that picking should change. So by that logic, I assume when you learn a new recipe, you should get a new set to pick from. If not, the next time it cycles, you know, obviously you would have the potential to get the new one. What tends to happen is you find the thing that you're looking for at a store. So we've just bought that recipe for 1,500 gold. You go a little bit further and there's another shop and you check it, and then it has the same thing for like 500 gold. It's annoying, but it happens all the time. But ultimately, I mean, I wouldn't say gold is easy to come by, but the quantities of gold that matter is like quantities of platinum, so 10,000s of gold. So for all intents and purposes, 500 and 1,500 is like the same price, right? And that's where people really, if they're exploiting the economy well, they're putting their prices at like the higher end of what they think is reasonable, because when somebody wants it, they want it now, right? And for them, whether it's 500 or 1,500, doesn't matter. Like whenever somebody's come up to me while I'm busy crafting or whatever, and they go, "Hey, can you make me something?" Right? Like, I need a fishing rod. Can you make me a fishing rod? And it's usually experienced player, because they know to go to the person and ask them to make it. They'll ask me how much I want for it, and I'll say like 200 gold, and then they'll say, okay, cool, and then I'll make it, and then when I give it to them, they'll give me 1,000 gold, right? Even though I said my price was 200. Because obviously for them it's like it's worth 1,000 gold. 1,000 gold is so easy to come by if you're a high skill, a high level player, that it's worth it to them. They have it, they'll just pay it, right? Now the question becomes, do you then set that as... Oh, so that definitely didn't work. It put it somewhere down there, which is not what we wanted. Let's take, I don't know, 1,000. This is probably going to be my focus for a little while. This is the same as that, right? I can stack it like that. Yeah. So what happened to the... Oh, put the rest of the gold in there. Yes. There we have 1 platinum again. So do you set that, like, do you make that your price, right? If I had a vendor, and let's say that what the guy wanted was a fishing rod, and I make it cost 1,000 gold, would it sell? That's the question. And I think not. If somebody is taking the time, oh, I don't have the thing yet. If somebody's taking the time to go shop for it, they expect to get a better deal. But if they are where they want to be and they just want the thing there, I I think they're willing to spend more for it. So I don't necessarily think that you can reasonably make that the price. But it's interesting. It probably means that rather than ask 200, you could ask 500 or whatever. Even though it's quite high. Oh, well, I actually think he didn't ask me for a price. He said, can you make me a fishing rod? I'll pay you 500 for it or something. But I think then he asked me like, are you a new player? And I said, yes, I've been playing about a week or two. And then he gave me like 1,000 gold, and he gave me an axe, hatchet, and he gave me a rune to his shop, right? So it could be that he paid more because I was a new player, not necessarily because that's what he thought the price should be. But yeah, that's interesting. Okay, I think that's about as far as I can push it, because I'm gonna go inside and all the lights are gonna be off, and my fiance is gonna be in bed and grumpy that I'm taking longer than I said I would. So I'm gonna call it there. I'll probably do a Minecraft stream tomorrow, even though viewership will be a little bit low, but I need to make some progress on that before I kind of forget how to play Minecraft. And then we'll see. I'm actually trying to think whether I'll fit in. So Tuesday is a public holiday for me. So what I might do is play either Borderlands or Legends of Aria during the day on Tuesday. And I'll probably do I might do like a stream during the day and then a regular stream at night, just to keep to my schedule. So I might do something like Borderlands in the afternoon on Tuesday, since most regular viewers won't catch that. And so, you know, then they don't miss out on the Minecraft or on the Legends of Aria. Or what I might do is, because I normally alternate the Minecraft with other things, I might do Legends of Aria during the day because it's a little bit longer, and I'll mostly probably be grinding or something like that, and then I'll do Borderlands in the evening so that there's you know, something a little bit more exciting to watch for the regular crowd or whatever. But I think there's also a little bit of seeing how I feel on the day. But yeah, so that's what I'll do, and yeah, but I'll definitely try and do Minecraft tomorrow because it's been a while. So thanks everybody for watching. If you haven't followed already, you can, and then I'll have another stream again tomorrow. So have a good rest of your day for those who still have a day ahead, and otherwise for the ones who are getting to the end of the day or the start of the the end of the day or the middle of the day. You know, good luck for the rest of it, or have a good night, and I'll see you my tomorrow, your whatever. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter if you want notifications for when I stream. The deals will come up now with the ending credits, and you guys are awesome. See you again soon. Cheers.